30 days is enough time to make a real visible difference in your belly fat situation, if you understand what is actually driving it and what you need to do differently. It is not enough time for a dramatic transformation, and anyone promising you that is lying to sell you something, but 30 days of the right approach, applied consistently, will produce changes that are visible and that set up everything that comes after. The problem is that almost nobody is doing the right approach, because the right approach is almost never what gets marketed under the promise of losing belly fat in 30 days. Here's what most 30-day belly fat challenges actually involve: extreme calorie restriction, daily cardio ab workouts presented as fat-burning tools, and a before and after photo at the end that was taken in dramatically different lighting. And here's what that approach produces in your body over 30 days. Muscle loss, metabolic slowdown, elevated cortisol, increased abdominal fat storage, and a body that is lighter on the scale but compositionally worse than when you started. The scale might show a lower number, the belly might look roughly the same, or in some cases worse, and you feel exhausted, hungry, and demoralized at the end of a month of genuine effort. This is not bad luck. This is the predictable biological outcome of the approach, and it happens to women consistently enough that it should have caused the industry to stop recommending it decades ago. So, what does 30 days of the right approach actually look like, and what can it realistically produce? The first thing to understand is that belly fat specifically is not just a calorie problem, it is a cortisol problem, a sleep problem, a hormonal problem, and a body composition problem, all operating simultaneously, and addressing only the calorie side while ignoring the others produces results that are slower, smaller, and less lasting than addressing all of them together. Women who make meaningful, visible progress on belly fat in 30 days are almost never the ones who restricted the hardest. They are the ones who address the most variables at the same time. Cortisol is the starting point because it is the most direct driver of abdominal fat storage and the most commonly ignored one. Your body stores fat around the midsection preferentially when cortisol is chronically elevated, because abdominal fat is physically close to your liver and vital organs, making it rapidly accessible as fuel during a perceived threat. Every stressor in your life elevates cortisol. Poor sleep elevates it. Aggressive calorie restriction elevates it. Excessive cardio elevates it. Work stress elevates it. The reason so many women are working extremely hard and seeing their belly fat stubbornly refuse to move is that their approach is creating the exact hormonal environment that promotes belly fat storage while simultaneously trying to reduce belly fat. The effort is working against itself. Reducing cortisol is therefore not a lifestyle bonus on top of the real plan. It is a central mechanism of the plan itself. Sleep is where 30 days of change can produce the fastest visible difference with the least additional effort, and it is almost always the most neglected variable. Poor sleep elevates cortisol directly. It disrupts the hormones that regulate hunger and fullness, making you biologically hungrier and less satisfied by food the following day. It reduces growth hormone release, which your body uses for fat metabolism and muscle repair, and it specifically promotes abdominal fat accumulation through the cortisol pathway in a way that affects your midsection more than anywhere else. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is not a recovery tool sitting at the bottom of the priority list. For belly fat reduction, specifically, it is one of the highest leverage interventions available, and it costs nothing. Women who improve their sleep quality meaningfully over 30 days see visible changes in abdominal puffiness and fat within the first 2 weeks that no amount of additional exercise produces when sleep remains poor. Sodium and inflammation are responsible for a significant portion of what most women experience as belly fat, particularly the lower abdominal bloating and puffiness that makes the midsection look larger than it actually is in terms of fat tissue. High sodium intake causes your body to retain water to maintain fluid balance, and that retention shows up visibly in the abdomen. Processed foods, restaurant meals, packaged snacks, and condiments contain amounts of sodium that most women significantly underestimate, and the cumulative effect of chronically high sodium intake is a degree of permanent low-grade abdominal bloating that sits on top of whatever actual fat is present and makes the whole situation look worse than it is. Reducing processed food intake over 30 days addresses sodium, reduces overall calorie intake without requiring deliberate restriction, and reduces the chronic low-grade inflammation that contributes to both bloating and cortisol elevation simultaneously. Water intake has a counterintuitive relationship with abdominal bloating that is worth understanding clearly. When you are chronically underhydrated, your body retains fluid as a protective response, which contributes directly to the bloated, puffy midsection appearance that many women mistake for fat. Drinking adequate water throughout the day signals to your body that fluid is available and allows it to release the retained fluid it was holding as a reserve. Most women drinking insufficient water and then increasing their intake notice a visible reduction in abdominal bloating within the first week that has nothing to do with fat loss and everything to do with their body finally releasing the fluid it was protecting. This is one of the fastest visible changes available in the first 30 days, and it requires nothing more than drinking enough water consistently. Protein is the nutritional variable that makes the biggest difference in belly fat reduction over 30 days, and it is the one most women are most significantly under-consuming. Adequate protein preserves the muscle tissue that keeps your metabolism elevated. It is the most satiating macronutrient, meaning it keeps you fuller on fewer total calories without requiring deliberate restriction. It has the highest thermic effect of any macronutrient, meaning your body burns more calories digesting it than it does digesting fat or carbohydrates. And it supports the hormonal environment your body needs to actually release stored fat rather than break down muscle for fuel. Women who increase their protein intake meaningfully over 30 days while keeping total calories moderate almost universally report reduced hunger, better energy, and visible body composition changes that calorie restriction alone without adequate protein never produces. Resistance training is what determines whether the fat loss you achieve over 30 days actually changes the shape of your body or just makes you a smaller version of the same shape. Cardio burns calories during the session and largely stops contributing beyond that. Resistance training changes your body composition by building and maintaining muscle tissue, which increases your resting metabolic rate, improves insulin sensitivity, and creates the hormonal environment that supports ongoing fat loss rather than metabolic adaptation downward. For belly fat specifically, resistance training reduces cortisol over time when volume is appropriate, improves the hormonal profile that governs where your body stores and releases fat, and produces the muscle development that makes the midsection look defined rather than just smaller. 3 to 4 sessions of genuine progressive resistance training per week over 30 days will produce measurably different body composition results than the same amount of time spent exclusively on cardio, and the difference becomes more pronounced with every subsequent month. The AB workout conversation needs to happen honestly because it is where the most confusion exists. Training your abdominal muscles does not burn the fat sitting on top of them. Your abs are a muscle group that responds to the same training principles as every other muscle group. You train them to make them stronger and more developed, not to burn the fat covering them. A woman with strong, well-developed abs and significant fat on top of them will not have visible abs. A woman with moderate ab development and low enough body fat to make them visible will. The fat reduction happens through overall energy balance, cortisol management, adequate protein, and sufficient sleep. The ab training happens to develop the muscle that becomes visible as the fat reduces. Both matter, but they do different jobs, and treating ab exercises as a fat-burning tool is one of the most reliable ways to do a lot of work and see very little result. 30 days done correctly produces real changes. Abdominal bloating reduces within the first week from improved hydration and reduced sodium. Visible puffiness decreases as sleep improves and cortisol drops. Actual fat reduction begins showing up in the second and third week as the body composition shifts from adequate protein and progressive training. And by day 30, a woman who addressed all of these variables together will look and feel measurably different in her midsection than she did at the start. Not because of a dramatic transformation, but because she spent 30 days changing the actual inputs that drive belly fat, rather than fighting her body with approaches that were never going to work. The belly fat does not stay because you're not trying hard enough. It stays because the things driving it are not the things most 30-day challenges address. Fix those things, and 30 days is more than enough time to see that your body was ready to respond the whole time. It was just waiting for the right signals.